VOD always like cuts in significantly later than you would expect, so I'm just gonna try to adjust this, make sure you can actually see my face. But hello everybody! Not that I know if anyone's here yet, but if anyone's watching the VOD and if anyone does join in, welcome. Today, I know that it doesn't look like it because this is where I was by default, but today I'm going to be working on a new dream entirely. So basically, we're going to start fresh. Obviously, I have created quite a lot of things here, but we're going to start fresh. And well, it's going to be an interesting time because I still haven't been back in create mode since.
You can build
I need to get her to
anything
quiet
you
down.
can imagine.
I haven't created anything in create mode since the full game has been out, so I think that there's still some things post the tutorials that I need to do when it comes to early access. And so it's weird because it does actually, like, I don't think it's possible for me to completely skip all the tutorials, which is kind of annoying because I've gone through them about 8 times now with beta on 2 different consoles and then early access on like 3 different consoles. So that's been just a mess. But yeah, today I'm going to be working on a sort of, I want to call it a neon-esque scene, and it's going to be focused on being cute, not being fancy. But hello, today is not a stream where I'm going to be playing a lot of stuff, but we may switch a little bit later, especially if I get stuck for any reason in this. But first, I don't know if anybody else creates this way, because it's kind of like, it's more of a fashion type thing, and I do really hope you can actually hear me here. But today I'm going to start by creating a wonderful color palette, because that's how I tend to start things. And I'm just going to basically place something here. Oh. I'm going to place down a block of a few different colors.
Don't forget that ImpQuest streamer.
Oh, shush. And then I'm going to go in and paint them all different colors because I want to figure out how we're going to make this as neon as possible and as cute as possible. But yeah, this is how I normally start things. And it's largely because I tend to, in dreams, the thing that I screw up with the most is always like picking the same colors over and over. And it tends to mess up, and I'll have different sections of the level where it's supposed to be the exact same sort of terrain, and it'll be like just slightly off in shade, and that always really bothers me. And I realize that's kind of a strange thing, but it does sincerely bother me, and so that's why I always start off this way. The issue is, I don't know, like, how do you pick neon colors if you can't make them glow? But it is going to be a very glowy thing. I was kind of inspired by
Dreamer,
a picture.
did you forget about the ImpQuest?
Can you stop talking? Can I tell her to stop talking? Like, go away. Yes, I did forget about that. But today I'm inspired by something that I saw on Instagram. It was kind of like a Japanese garden. I'm sure there's a better word for that, but I'm going to try to create something that's kind of like neon-y and pastel-y, and essentially it's just going to be incredibly colorful and very glowy, because a lot of the stuff I've made so far, I think hasn't been super like uniquely, I want to say realistic, but it has been a little less like fun and silly than what I'm used to. So today, there's going to be a lot of pinks, there's going to be a lot of blues, and basically everything shy. Now I realize I just painted the rainbow here, and that's kind of the idea, but it's just to give us a basis for everything.
Don't forget that ImpQuest streamer.
Okay, I think I actually am going to have to go through this, or it's going to be go into the assembly and then search. Okay, great. I think I do have to actually go through this, or it's going to be really angry at me. So I suppose the first 10 minutes of this will be me trying to get through this. I did! Oh, quick start collection. Let's throw Connie in for now. I don't think that's a bad idea, necessarily. Now you have to open and press options, select play. Okay, great. That's fun. Okay. Let's see if we can get through this as fast as possible. I did not expect to have to do this, or I would have done it already, but unfortunately it looks like I can't skip these. So in Little Big Planet, if you didn't remember and you hadn't been there before, one of the things that was really great about the third game
Dreamer,
was the fact that
you've just made
could just
your
skip everything.
very first
and that was
creation.
awesome.
The Dreamiverse is yours.
Unfortunately, she refuses to stop talking. But yeah, today I'm actually going to start by searching on here for anything that we can find that's just literally labeled neon. And we'll see where that goes from here. Did I do your game console idea? Don't remember what you're talking about, but if it was something to add to my queue, I did already. Oh, I do remember. Oh, yeah. Not yet, because I was looking into how I would do that logically, and it completely makes sense, but I think it makes more sense for somebody that is looking to do a bunch of short scenes, and I tend to not do that. I tend to make, like, multi-level long everything, honestly. Whenever I come up with a concept for things, I tend to do my best to use all the assets I've made to the fullest extent that I can. So let's start with this. Oh, let's try to change it to keep upright. There we go. Just as inspiration for what I'm assuming is going to turn into a sort of bathhouse. I'll put this in the back. But we'll see how that works. So basically how I want to start is I want to take this and then take this color. Let's see if I can color pick that and actually make it a little bit brighter than that. So you can make some water, and then we're going to smear it. After I change this finish to shiny. Actually, let's go with this one. And then, why is that so purple? That is not the color I picked. Pure. Why is it so purple? Alright, well let's just take this over here and then go into there, because that'll be way easier than that. Okay, so one of the issues that I've noticed is that when you do use the color picker, sometimes if you're choosing from, like, outside it, for example, you know that that color I picked was blue, but for some reason it was showing off purple. And one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the time when you're trying to design something and you pick colors from outside the design, it tends to mess up very quickly, and I think it has to do something with the color blending. I'm not exactly sure why that happens, and I think it should be changed. It doesn't make sense that when you pick a color, like say I pick this color right here that's very clearly blue, it picks it based on the lighting effects around it, which could be useful. I just can't imagine what situation it would be useful, and the situation it's annoying in is constantly much more annoying. So actually let's jump out here and grab some water so we can use the effects from it. So in my videos I talk a lot about how I recommend using just about every asset you can from, this looks about right, from the store, because there's no reason why you need to make your own water. And like here, this is actually not a very good one, but like here, nobody's gonna care whether or not you made the original effect or something like that. It's always going to be a matter of how you place it within your level. Although this is actually very purple, and I'm not super into that. But I suppose we can use it for now. So let's take that, and then let's grab some trees. I don't know if we can find a bonsai tree or not, but... yeah, I think you could absolutely make it like that with a console. The issue is, it's a lot to fit within one level, and it's a lot to do for a setup to a level, as opposed to... like, you're spending a lot of time for something that doesn't really lead to a lot of gameplay. I think it's, technologically, I think it's amazing, and it's very impressive. It's just not... I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it would be worth your effort, but if it's something you want to do, I absolutely suggest that you do it. It's just not... I don't know, it just seems like it would take a lot of time. Not that I'm against that or anything, but let's rotate this, and let's copy a few of them. There we go. I'll put it this way. So, like I said before, if you are just joining, attempting to make a sort of bonsai garden type thing with a lot of neon colors, which is why, I don't know why this water is showing up so purple. I'm kind of okay with that. Oh, that's why. I get it. There were some light effects tied to that. That would make a huge difference there. Alright, now let's look up some rocks. I was intending to start by creating some of my own stuff, but there's just really not a need to at this point. So let's take some outer garden here. So if you have ever been to Japan, let me know what you thought of the onsen there, because that's kind of the inspiration for this. And hopefully we can create something that doesn't look too realistic. I know we're pulling in some pretty realistic assets right now, but the thing that's supposed to make it look unique is going to be the colors that we use within this section. So for example, I'm going to take this rock right now and see if we can change the colors of it a little bit. There we go. So let's make this more pink. There we go. Let's make it there. Is that pink enough? That compared to that? Okay, so there's the other part in there too. So this is what I talk about a lot in pretty much every video. Don't worry about creating your own assets unless you need to, because you can always tweak other people's and make them unique enough. And also, at the end of the day, those people are still going to get credit for it. So, like, there we go. That fits our theme a little bit better.
Smart customizable hub that saves progress.
Goodness. A hub, like, within the game itself? That's crazy. Yeah, clearly. I mean, everybody does. That's kind of the point. But, let's see if we... Actually, you know what? So, the way I start with this, and this is also for inspiration, but I'll always search for something before I end up creating it. And a lot of the time, I won't find something. Like, I don't know how I'm going to find a neon platform that'll fit my aesthetic. Because this is, like, pretty, but this is a lot similar to, like, what Media Molecule was going for. That's interesting that that one bounces, but it's not really necessary. Neon Groove. Ooh, that's fun. This isn't very neon, though, is it? It's cute. It's very kawaii. I'm gonna bring one of these in as, like, a inspiration. Oh! See, that's another thing that still keeps happening. Whenever I work on a level like this, there are just assets that won't load in for some reason. Like, I love this game, and I support Media Molecule and everything they do, but, like, what is going on here? So I'm going to turn on precision mode so I can shift things over a little bit without it looking too much like I am blending two assets together. Which is an important skill, and one that I don't think I can give advice on yet, because, I mean, I think it's just like, it's like an art. When you're blending something together, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you kind of learn which techniques work best. And I don't think I could provide anything that, like, a graphic artist couldn't tell you. So that's why I think I focus more on, like, the technique of creating and why you would want to build something a certain way. Let's take these, let's see if we can make these a little bit more shiny. We're gonna have to jump into each one of these. It's nice that these are all individual sculptures. Sometimes I'll be working on something, and yeah, exactly, that's the best way to do it, is to edit them after you place it. Sometimes I'll be working on something and then I'll get an asset that looks great, but I just can't end up using it because it's just too separated. It feels like there's 10 different levels to each part of it, and that just makes it very frustrating. So I'm essentially trying to make this look like cotton candy. Let me undo that, because that's a lot more fun. So, like, there we go. I probably could have just left those as live clones so that when I change one of them, it made the same. And actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So if you haven't used this yet, and you are a creator yourself, and you're not just watching this for the sultriness of my voice, which is a hilarious reason to watch one of my videos, you can live clone things. And when you do that, for example, if I jump into here and change this to pink, and then jump out, assumedly, that's weird. So if you turn on live clones, it's supposed to update everything. But it doesn't look like it is. I wonder if that is a glitch. So, like, if I take this... Oh, you know what? It doesn't save settings. That's the issue. So if I jump in here and delete this, does that not do anything either? I guess you can't live clone groups. Well, I guess we're learning something new every day. Let's undo that until we can... There we go. Alright. So live clones, I'm assuming, only work for changes you make within Sculpt. That I did not know at all, which is always fun to learn something new on a stream. But, let's get rid of these trees, because this is just taking up all my time. And I really would like to start working on the actual bath part of this. So let's start by grabbing... Actually, I'm going to grab this. Because I'm actually going to take this and turn it into our platform. But first, I want to make it glow. There we go. And then I'm going to jump in. One of my favorite ways to sculpt, and this is... Oh, why did it stop glowing? There we go. One of my favorite ways to sculpt in more specific ways, like if you really need something to be exact, is to just stamp down a block like this and then stretch it into the right place. Then later on you can make tweaks to make it look more natural. I mean, for something like this, obviously, a pink square is kind of what we're going for. But if that's not what you were trying to do, after this you could go in and, for example, and take something like this. Let's say you wanted to make terrain that was still pink. Smear it over top of something like that in a separate sculpt, so that then you kind of know what you're trying to go for. And then, for example, if this was supposed to be rocks, you could jump out and easily go in here, turn up the flex, or the looseness rather, to the point where it looks like that. And then you can basically take that and place it around however you want. And obviously it's a quick example, but it's an easy way to create something that looks like Mars turf or something like that. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to take use of this creation again, make it smaller, and then hopefully I can jump into... So that's just the design for it. So I can jump into here and delete enough to where we can just take one of these platforms and use it as the basis for this next section. The only issue that this doesn't have that Little Big Planet Scene 2 is there's no, like, you can't pick something out of a creation, and you can't wide select. Like, I can't click and drag to select over here, which is very frustrating. And instead, you literally have to go through here and delete everything. And most of the time, if you see me on stream, what I'll do is I'll just end up recreating an asset, because it just takes too long. And that can be very frustrating. But I'm really just trying to get one of these blocks out of here, so that I can use it. There we go. That's all I needed. So then, if I click here, let's see. There we go. Ungroup. Oh, it's under my face, isn't it? I think that's it. Yes, it was under my face. Alright, so this is what we're going to use once I turn off stay upright. This is what we're going to use as the basis for the beginning of this level, which is going to start over here. So I can start building my own platforms and then using this to really make it go crazy. Let's put this down there. Right, don't they? I wasn't expecting to find anything for this. I thought we were going to have to create everything from scratch, and this was going to turn into what essentially amounted to a... Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this and modify it even further. I thought I was going to have to create all these from scratch, which is why that's kind of how I started, but as with always... Let's turn that on. As with always, I'm surprised, and that's wonderful. Why can't I drag that? There we go. There we go. That was rude. And then let's actually rough this up a little bit. So we will go a little more custom with this. I'm going to go in here, turn on the blend. Where is it? Can I not blend this? Why can't I blend this? That's weird. Huh. Maybe it's because that's a flag? Unless they obviously could have moved this in the last while. Alright, well, no worries. Do that. Then, one of the more annoying things within Dreams is the fact that you can't just... You can try your hardest to to blend things by just kind of scribbling them out there using, like, I'll show you, for example, just like this. And then switching to smear, which is what I'm already on. Oh, that's why I couldn't do it. Okay, so if I switch to, there we go. Turn that blend up. And then let's make this longer. There you go. There we go. And so now we can cut into it a lot easier without it, like, kind of screwing up and looking ridiculous. And all I'm trying to do here is to create something that looks unique enough to the point where now if I take this and copy it, I'm able to create something that kind of looks like a sludgy terrain, which is what I'm going for. It's supposed to be like a neon grass covered terrain. Let's put that there. And then let's take these 3. This will be our starting area. Let's actually turn down the looseness of that because it's a little too much. I think I have to do that inside the creation. Yeah, I'm not sure I can change that after the fact, but let's shrink these a bit. There we go. Shrink this too. And so right now, if you are just joining, I'm just trying to make a basis for the background platforms, not the actual big platforming segments, but the parts that essentially the character isn't going to see that much. It's just going to be in the back area here to sort of cover up the edge. And so if I do that and then copy it like 8 times over here, you can see it's kind of just like a, like if you're, if you've ever lived in a house that has like, was it molding around the base of the walls? That's what this is. Yeah, it's incredibly demotivating. I would not recommend, especially if you didn't play during early access, I would highly recommend against character creation at this point. It's just so involved. And that's not to say that anybody can't do it. They can. But as what I felt when I started playing Dreams, I did the same thing when I first started. And it's just so frustrating to start with character creation. And I can say that from experience, to the point where I almost stopped playing it and was like, oh, I guess I'm just going to go back to Little Big Planet, and that's what I'm going to stream and play on YouTube. But unfortunately, or fortunately rather, I continued going and switched from what would have been a miserable fate of playing a ridiculous amount of character creation and hating myself for it. So, sorry if that got a little too personal, but I would not recommend starting with character creation. If you do want to create characters, my best bet, if you are really hell-bent on doing it, is to start with just making the character, like just going into create mode and saying, okay, I'm going to make something with eyes. There's that. Here's 2 eyes. And just creating it as a sculpt, and then working on something later. For example, if you wanted to make something that didn't look like a kind of strange square with a little chunk cut out of it, you can then go back later and add all the logic. Alternatively, you can create a puppet for the time being. Like if you really want a specific kind of level, you can create a puppet that has the right jump settings and all of that, and then work on the character later. Just because once you get through the level, you're going to have a better idea of what you want it to look like anyways. And then hopefully you won't run into the awkwardness of having to spend your entire day creating something. That does not look like eyes, does it? I'm going to give it a mouth before this video gets demonetized, because if I don't, it's just going to be a mess. And this mouth, as you can tell by my gorgeous art skills, is going to be hilarious. Oh my god. This was supposed to be a cute stream, and I got distracted trying to explain something and ended up making one of the most terrifying things I've seen in a while. Alright, well, we're going to keep him around. Group that together. We're going to keep him around as a reminder of our roots, of where we come from. Yeah, right? Like, I don't know. By the way, when I look over there, if you haven't been here for a stream before, I am just looking at the chat because I don't have it on screen. In case I want to use this footage for something, which more than likely I will end up using it for a larger video, just because your girl doesn't have that much time in a daily life. Alright, so we got that. Let's take one of these and bring it down here. Turn it on its side. No, that doesn't look right. We'll keep it like this. And let's see, how much does this... Like, if I were to do this, how much space did that add? I think I have to show the thermometer before I do that. So view settings. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so if I do that, how much did that just go up? Oh, like none. Sweet. So we're actually going to use this as the basis for the starting platform, which is going to be over here. I'm just going to outline it and then we'll fill it in. Just like you do in a drawing. Yeah, they are, but they can be... So, like, that is generally the rule, that clones are pretty much free. But then you go into something like this... And I was working with, where is it? Let me see if I can find the right grass asset. There's one with flowers in it that literally I copied it twice and it filled up my entire level. I don't think it's actually still here. I hope someone took it down because that was really obnoxious. Yeah, okay, so that didn't do it. But it also could have been an early access thing. But generally you are right. The difference being when clones are very, very complicated, and that's never fun. Just going to shift things around here a little bit to try to make this look like its own rock. And hopefully it's neon enough for it to fit the aesthetic that we're going for. Shift that over a little bit. Move that a bit. So... if you are just getting into creation, then nudging is something you're going to be doing every 3 seconds. And unfortunately, that's just something you're going to have to get used to, because it's a constant struggle. Let's put this here. But it is a constant struggle to get something exactly how you want it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move these over this way, so that you can't jump on what's supposed to be the background. And then we're going to put this here. And then let's actually just wall in a small area so we know how we're going to limit this. And so I can place the water where it's going to go. So if you are just joining, or if you've been here for a while, the inspiration for this is sort of like a Japanese onsen garden. But neon. And... so as we go through this, I'm going to leave a little gap over here, because that's where the goal is. But as we go through this, I'm going to be looking at various things I can find on the Dreamiverse to match up to that. Let's make sure that's at the right level. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I didn't have to go through 50 tutorials at the beginning. Just one, thank goodness. Let's put this over here. Probably should have just turned on precision mode to do this a lot faster, but whoever said we were the most efficient creator, clearly not me. And then one more over here. I actually do wonder how they got this to reflect so accurately. They must have made some really fine-tuning, or done some really fine-tuning with the textures they put on top of the sculpt. Let's shift this down a little bit, shift this down a little bit. One of the best things about Dreams compared to Little Big Planet is the fact that you don't have to fine-tune everything, because objects can intersect. That's so nice. Yeah, I was actually looking at that earlier. I'm not going to make any changes to these, and I know that at this point. But also, if you didn't know, because I just figured that out today, the live clone tool does not work on groups, like at all. So, like, if you live clone a group, I will show this one more time because I'll probably end up putting this in a video. If you live clone a group, which this tree is, you can tell because when I go into it, You're still selecting things. So if you live clone a group, and you go into the first group and change something, it doesn't change on the ladder, which is really annoying. I believe if I were to go into the sculpt and just kind of delete some things, let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. So if I go in here and just kind of delete a few layers of this. Oh wow, this is actually a really complicated sculpt. So I'm going to try to delete this so it's visually very different than where we were before. Oh my god. How many things are in here? I'm mashing delete if you can't hear that, by the way. This is a very complicated tree. Good for them. Oh my god. How many layers does this have? Is this glitching? Am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. Okay, well that's visually different enough. And so then, yeah, coming over here, there's no difference. So this is a live clone of that, and for some reason, the changes didn't keep. Yeah, if I add paint, so I deleted paint, it didn't work. If I add paint, I guess we can check if it works. So this is actually kind of fun to experiment. So let's pick something, a hideous color. Let's say like puke green. So like this, but more orange. If we shift that further this way and just pick, is that like a chartreuse? Oh, like there. Ew, that looks like puke. Okay, so if I do that, and then just... Okay, so that works. So for some reason, deleting didn't change it, but when I added to it, not only did it add that, but it also updated with the delete. That's got to be a glitch. There's no way that that's intended. Yeah, there's no way that that's intended. Also, hi, Andrew. Sorry, I didn't say hi earlier. Your profile picture's changed. Andrew is the wonderful creator of an amazing series of Silent Hill sets that I really hope somebody ends up using to make a remake of Silent Hill. Not that I condone remakes, because you deserve the time and effort that you put into your own creations, as I've said in like 50 different videos, but as I grab my color palette, and if someone wants to do that and spend all their time on it, I say go for it, because I would love to see it. I'm whispering like someone can't hear me, like anybody else is trying to listen in on my stream, which is obviously not the case. So I'm going to take these. Let's see, can I do this as a group? I can! Yes, I'm going to turn the glow up on these. You can actually get some of that neon going in here. If you are joining in after we started, that is my color palette that I've chosen. That has been probably the most fun kind of alteration I made to my creative technique. But let's put these over here. We're just going to make a somewhat basic platformer with a few different keys involved. And there's no way I'm going to finish this today, but hopefully we can get enough done to actually show some gameplay of this level before it's over. I'm going to raise this up a little bit, put this up here, and then make another platform here. So with when I'm making platforms like these, all composed of the same thing, I highly recommend using stay upright and then just cloning to cover the area that you want to create. And then I kind of just turn them around until it makes sense and it looks random enough without like not looking like rocks anymore or not looking like grass anymore or anything like that. And actually, just to show an example of that, I'm going to add some grass to the top of this so we can do the same thing for the top of the platform. This is going to be where one of the keys for the level are located.
I think that's it. It works both ways for sculpting
Groups, though. Do you mean, I think you mean that I don't have to, that deleting should work? Because deleting definitely didn't change anything, as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm crazy. I could be crazy. Correction, I am definitely crazy, I just don't think I'm that crazy. So that gives you an idea of how crazy. Alright, so let's take some of the, yes, this is exactly what I want. Incredibly bright and glowy. And let's see if I can just remove the dirt. Booyah! Oh. But for some reason, stay upright means that turns on its side, so we're not going to do that. And I'm actually going to make this a little smaller. I was trying to pick the shiniest, most obnoxious grass I could possibly find, and now I'm going to try to place that on top of this, just avoiding the edge so that it's a very clear platform, and nobody's going to get confused by this. Put this over here. Try to kind of build that up a little bit. I'm going to shift this formation up so that it covers the edge of that grass. I'll actually do the same with this one and this one. Move that over a little bit. There we go. Now it's starting to look a little more realistic. Not super realistic because it's not supposed to, but we're getting there. And I'm going to actually take this and place one more over there. One more over here as well. And no one's going to see the giant hole in the middle of this because it won't be visible to the player. I'm confused as to what you mean by that, Andrew. Also, if you want me to stop actually calling you by your name in this, sorry. Because they're both gray. Oh, here, that's what you mean. Are you suggesting that I don't know what a sculpt is? Because if you are, I'm insulted. I also very well may have said something very contradictory because I am half focused on talking through things that I'm doing and half focused on actually creating the things that I'm doing. Let's turn that. Oh, I thought I just said right. Oh, there we go. Let's put that under here because I do want there to be a sharp drop off on this side because that's how we're rolling today. Just copy that on top of itself. Try to turn it. There we go. And then let's bring this up here. These look like small, fluffy cookies. There we go. Blend these into each other. I think I might have to make this just thicker. I think if I do this, that'll work. Nah, we'll just take this out and do that later.
Oh, yeah.
Word. It does, unfortunately, and I'm glad to know that that's actually a bug, because that would be a very weird feature to just not let live clones work for that. Although, for some reason, I think that they've intentionally hid it. The live clones feature. The fact that it's not available as a keybind is kind of weird to me. Actually, let's make this a lot smaller. But I guess there's no way to really know without asking them. Alright, great. So we have our destination. Now I get to make the fun part, which is the platforms. So I'm actually, you know what, let's not use pink because that's going to look exactly like what Media Molecule made. Let's do this. Let's do this color. Light baby blue. And I'm going to jump into this and make it a lot longer than it is right now. And then repaint it that same color. One of the better ideas would have been to actually paint this, or start this as it was supposed to be, and make the color of the object that, but that just would have been too easy. So instead, we're just going to paint everything the same color. And jump out. And so the goal for this is to at least put down the platforms for this area. We'll see if we actually end up moving on to the full character design and or selection. I don't know how we're going to work through that, but right now It's just meant to be a fun thing. So the reason that I'm streaming today and I haven't posted something today, last week was a mess. Not in terms of videos. I feel like that's the only thing that actually seemed to work well. But actually, let's just take this and make it bigger. But good gosh, making a video every day alongside a full-time job is just miserable. Which isn't to say that I don't enjoy the videos I make. I very much do. It's just, oof. It's a hell of an effort to put in on a daily basis when you're also trying to work a job on a daily basis. And then we're going to put this here. So what I'm trying to do is make something that looks bright and colorful, but also fits into the aesthetic, and that's not showing as nicely as I want it to. So this is supposed to look like some kind of beacon. Let's make it a little bit taller. Hopefully that'll read when someone's actually playing through it. Maybe I need to make it glow more. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Okay. So let's group all these together. Fine-tune it again later, but for now, let's put this here. Copy it again. Here. And let's actually jump into this group. Hey Max, how's it going? Good to see you. Let's jump into this group and ungroup it for 1 second so I can copy this out and regroup it. So today, for anybody that is joining, is a create mode stream, which is very strange because I don't normally work on that. It's definitely not a sculpting tutorial or anything of that sort, because gosh knows that I am not the strongest sculptor, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with 3D art, as a lot of the sculptors here on Dreams do. But instead I'm just going to be designing a simple level with a few different parts that's hopefully going to play into a larger game later on. But there's not going to be any character creation today. If we do that, well, except for this lovely character sitting over in the corner here, so keep an eye out for him. I'm sure I'll put him in the background of one of my streams in the future. But let's add a checkpoint, if I can find it. There we go. Place that there. Don't know what the checkpoints are going to look like. I feel like they need to be neon as well, but maybe like a flag? Let's see if we can find a flag. Actually, let's just see what has the community made in terms of checkpoints so far. I know I saw a Little Big Planet one that I ended up using in the past. Oh, okay, so they actually have the Media Molecule one. That's cool. Do I want to use it, though? Oh, no, this is way cooler. This fits the aesthetic way better. Alright, why does this come with a puppet? Alright, let's do this. Is this gonna fit the aesthetic, though? I think we may have to jump in and color some things differently. So, oh, that's why it's dull. So if I do that, change this to light blue. There we go. That's a little more accurate. That's a little more neon. And so the idea for this level, as I said before, is supposed to be based on a sort of Japanese garden surrounding an onsen. The difference being that your goal is to restore the color of the world being this one section. Yeah, you know what? I'm not crazy about it. Let's find another one. Let's do the flag. We'll do a flag. And just make it very, very colorful. Push this into the ground a little bit. Jump in. Let's turn it pink. That's clearly all I spend my time doing, is turning things bright pink. There we go. Let's make it glow a little bit. I'll probably hook the glow into the activation of the checkpoint. So this is checkpoint logic. Oh, they made an entire board for this. Alright. Currently active is going to activate the glow section of this. And so until it's active, it's not going to glow. So let's jump in as just a deluxe puppet for a second. There we go. Plop him down right there. Actually, you know what? Who should we use? We should use the search character. There's this great character that I tend to use for a lot of my levels that just is very mobile. It was like some person's persona. I mentioned it, and oh, there she is. Anastasia the Messenger Mage. Yes, I would like to use the newer version. That I've used in so many of my levels so far, just because when I haven't decided how I want the character to play yet, it's just a great way to be able to get around the level ahead of time without really having to worry about it. Let's jump into play mode and see. Oh, she is way too fast. Let's turn her speed down a lot. Because that is way too fast. There we go. Movement speed. Let's turn that down to 2. And to 1. Let's see how that works. Yeah, there we go. Little slow, but it'll work for now. And so when I activate this, there you go. It glows. Not enough, though. I want it to glow more.
Yeah, it is very annoying.
It's... I mean, it's not surprising. They need to have a default speed. Like, it's... I guess I'll just do that. They need to have, like, a basic speed and a basic scale for everything else in the level. It would be nice, though, if that speed did scale when you decided to shrink it a little bit. Let's actually change the color of this, too. That is far too dull for this neon level. Let's make it too dark. There you go. And then when that starts glowing, that should be good. Alright, cool. So we have this. Unfortunately, I think I forgot to make it inactive, so we may have to just go back. Let's see if I can just rewind. There we go. Let's make sure. Yep, that did change. Good. I still haven't fully gotten down. Oh, I haven't fully gotten down what rewinds when you rewind and what doesn't. Still working on that. It's too small. Alright, well, we'll deal with that later. For now, let's continue to create some more platforms up here. Because I want to make a little cave to keep things interesting. So up here, we're going to do this. Turn on. Keep upright. Place this here. It's going to be a sort of long ascending cave to a ledge up here. That will hopefully create another mini environment that will keep this this level interesting. Let's put this way. Does that look right? Almost. Alright, so then we're going to take one of these, make it a lot smaller. Place it there. Oof, I love the texture on this, although I think swing it around this way. Weird. Okay, so that side's... That's kind of cool, though. I like the variation in it. I'll leave it. I'm just going to create the edge of the cave here. So you're going to enter... I want to say about there. Does that make sense? Let's turn this around. Actually, just flip it. There we go. Place this there, and then place the other side here. I always forget that you can flip things by clicking in the left stick, just like in Little Big Planet, because I'm in Dreams mode. Let's place, or I'm in Little Big Planet mode, I should say. And let's take one of these and just cover this entire area with darkness to really add to the drama of it all. Actually make this go up a little bit. I don't want it to be so flat. Can you tell I mostly work on 2D platforms? There? Yeah? Yeah, that looks good. And let's shift things around to make them look less uniform. And do that. Put this here. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm creating is essentially this for quite a while, just because it's, I hate to say it's probably the more fun part of creating, where when it comes to creating assets and when it comes to designing a level, you're going to spend a lot of time fine-tuning and a lot of time editing things to make sure that as a platformer it works and it stays fun. And so one of the more like carefree, silly things to do in creation is just like the beginning part, essentially placing all the assets around and just playing around with it, trying to make it look pretty, trying to make it look silly or a certain way and make it fit the aesthetic you're going for, all that sort of stuff. It's just fun. It's like playing with blocks, I guess. And so a lot of the tips that I give are kind of surrounding how can you play more of the fun part of the create mode of dreams and how can you limit the more difficult part. But the difficulty about that is the fact that not everybody enjoys this, and a lot of people love character creation. A lot of people love, I don't know if anybody loves character creation in terms of the logic, but a lot of people do enjoy the logic. I enjoy the logic in Little Big Planet a lot, though it's a little bit more complicated and I just don't really focus on it as much in Dreams. I understand people that do, and so that's why I try to give tips that will hopefully help everybody, including myself, because these are tips from an amateur creator, not by any means a pro. But it's just kind of, this is what I've done because I've sunk far too many hours into this game, so hopefully it will make the game more fun for you. Not that it needs to be, I mean, on its own it is pretty entertaining, but there we go. Alright, so now we sort of have our cave. Shift this back a little bit. And then try to make it look interesting from the inside too. Because if it doesn't, it will just be ridiculous. Alright, let's shrink that a little bit. Put it there. Put that there. Alright, I think that we're almost done with this section. Looks even enough. And then we just gotta copy the roof here. And there we go. Bam. Beautiful cave. I do actually want to delete some of these and make a real... Should I? Trying to decide how I want the ground in here to look. I don't know if I want it to look grassy. Let's see, what does this look like if I make it like neon green? It's kind of boring. Oh, that's kind of fun. Oh, I like that. Do I like that? Nah, it's kind of boring. Alright, let's try orange. Like orange. Nope, not crazy about that either. How about red? Too bloody? Yeah, too bloody. Alright, so let's stick with this color then. Sort of that kind of tealy blue that we use for the trees. I think that makes a lot more sense. Anything else? Yeah, let's use that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it green over there. There we go. Because it's outside, and so for inside this cave, once I turn off upright, we're going to make it a crazy color. Because why not? It's fun. I have to make sure this is actually a sculpt. Yes, it is a sculpt. Right? Yeah. Okay, so you can actually walk on this. Probably something I should have checked to begin with. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be luminescent stuff everywhere, considering most of the platforms are going to look like that. I just have to figure out how it's going to work in here. Let's start with the lowest layer there. Let's take this and turn it slightly so I can... Oh god, I'm lost. I hate it when that happens. Working on interiors is always difficult, and I should probably just leave the roof off. But that's no fun. Alright, so let's do that to kind of fill in the lower ground. And then bring it up here. Oh shit, I should never do that. I mean, crap. I think it's possibly the first time I've ever sweared on my channel. Actually, you know what? I kind of like that. It looks cavey. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. Now I know what I'm doing. Alright, this grass is going to be toxic. That's what we're going to do. Let's turn that a little bit and try to... There we go. Alright, so this grass is 100% going to be toxic, because that's so much more fun. Shift it down a little bit. And then let's take all of these. See, at this point, I could have live cloned all of them, and I wouldn't have had to reselect them, but... Oh, that's too glowy. Out there? Actually, don't emit light from glow. Too glowy. A little less. Seems to be such a big difference between 26 and 27. Not a very smooth scale. I mean, I think that looks toxic. I would say that looks toxic. But I'm still going to put a danger sign at the front so that people will understand that it is toxic. And I'm also going to bring this forward a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. How does that look? Good. Okay, and then we'll take these, not the whole thing, just this part. And I'm just going to have them kind of sticking out of the side of this. We'll see if I end up making these more detailed later, because they're kind of like, they're turning into crystals, and that's not really what I want them to look like. They're supposed to look like, kind of alien. And they're not. They're kind of starting to look like low-grade crystals when they're not supposed to look like that at all. But we'll see. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. So there we go. Let's shift this over a little bit so it's not so awkward to get up there. Is that better? A little better. I feel like there shouldn't be... So let's flip this way. Should not be that big of a gap inside of this, because that's going to make this just too difficult. The hard parts of platformers is kind of nailing the difference between, like, a challenge and what's supposed to be difficult and something that seems like an easy jump but is accidentally far too tough, especially at this stage in the game. There we go. That's a little bit better. So then there's a thinner section here and here, so that actually leaves some challenge. And then in here, let's see, where do we want them to go? I think I'm gonna pull this out a little bit, because then it leaves a really cool arch right there. And then up here, if I can shift this back, is where the key is gonna be. And so then we just gotta, let's take one of, actually, you know what, let's take some of those pillars again. Just to keep the aesthetic going. Take one of these and put it over here. And again, these may end up turning into crystals later on. Not fully sure yet. But at least at the time being, they are very obvious platforms.
Yeah.
I could, and I probably should with the grass. You're right. That's a really good point. Sorry if you are watching the VODs. It's probably very confusing. Someone just suggested, Andrew suggested that I should make the secondary color of the flex different, and I absolutely agree. I'm just not gonna do that right now. Let's see. Maybe if I turn this sideways, does that still work? Not crazy about it. Let's change the color. How about if we change it to like a darker blue? No. I don't like that though. I think I want this second platform to be rock. So let's shrink that. Try to create something a little bit more obvious here. See, I love the way that arch looks. It's just not fitting as well as I want it to, you know? Maybe if I do that. No. Alright. Let's actually, should we go the other way? No. No, I like this. Alright, so let's shift this back just a bit. Try to pull that out so that the platform still makes sense. They're not, though. Oh, there we go. That's slightly better. Always a struggle. Oh, and then I can... Okay, there we go. Then I'll just change the wall of the, of this part to make more sense. Ah, yes! Success. Maybe it's even a little bit bigger. Little too big. Shift that back a little bit. There we go. I was trying to make it so that nobody could jump on this section of the wall because that would just be awkward. But there we go. I think that's good. Put one there, and then I'll put another platform here just to make it pretty cleanly obvious where the next section is. Maybe actually out here a little bit? Does that read right? I think it does. A little lower than that. There we go. No, I think that kind of cuts off this part of the room, so I'm going to shift it back over here. Kind of leave it there. This here. Actually, do I even need this anymore? Probably not, but it keeps the cohesiveness of this section. Then we're just going to put a placeholder here that I will add the logic to later, because that's not very fun to watch, of a key. Perfect. Glowing key. That's exactly what I wanted. Why is it on an entire platform? Why? Alright, well there we go. So can anybody answer that? Is there a reason why a few of the creations we pulled in today have been, like, on enormous slabs of land? Is there any real reason for that? Oh, grab the wrong thing. Alright, let's stick this up here. Glowing key. Is there any logic on that? I don't think there is. I think it's just glowing. Alright, there we go. Then I'll probably add some score or something over here. Let's shift this down a little bit. And, yeah. Okay, so then let's add collision. Well, I'll work on that later when I'm working on the thing. But basically, what you're going to have to do is a couple things. You can either set it so that when the character collides with this material, they die. Or, in this case, it might make more sense to just create a death zone around this because it is all under the other platforms. Like, if I shift this up a little bit, it might just be easier to create a death zone. And by a death zone, I mean a, where's the health modifier? I believe it's in gameplay. Am I wrong? Am I completely wrong about that? Let's see, where's the health modifier? I may just be missing it. It took me like a half an hour to find last time because I am struggling. Movers. Health modifier. There we go. So basically, you take one of these, put it here, and then you can change the zone. Change it to zone. And then change it to whatever size you want. So this is how I've been doing it for the most part, just because most of the time when I have, like, death zones, it's like falling out of the map death zones. And so I'll just do this, and then place it where it needs to go. And then either copy it, or just extend the zone manually. Now, obviously, you can just do on impact and then wire it to one of these, but it's not worth it right now. So, there's the first section. So then there's going to be another key up here. So let's just clone that one. Sorry if I just made anybody dizzy. It's spinning around like that. The second key over here. Not sure if I'm going to make these keys or if you're going to activate beacons. I think beacons would make more sense based on... Yeah. Yeah, okay, so let's do that. Oh, we'll take one of these and turn it green. Let's see. Paint can. And let's see. What's good neon green? That's actually a great neon green. Is that gonna be too light though? Oh no, there we go. And then... what activates it? A switch? No. Let's see if there's any cool platforms. I'm just going to search platform, and then we can make it neon ourselves and see how that goes. I just need a dramatic platform to stand on that feels very, like, activate-y. No. No, 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 still no. Oh, that's awesome. It's a lot better than the version I made in my creep level, but, not crazy about any of these. Alright, we'll have to make our own. Actually, you know what? I might just take this and put it up here. Is that sensible? And then make it blue, or change this to be green. There we go. And then upon touching it, I guess. Let's see. Sensor. Triggers on. Right on top of it. And let's make it square. Because I want it to glow as somebody approaches it, so they don't have to think, oh, I have to like touch it, and that works. I just don't know if that will be apparent enough. That's something that we can work on later, but let's try to shift this a little bit. So when they touch the rock, that will activate. There we go. Okay, that's good. And I'll actually group these two together. And so this is going to... activate the glow. Oh, can't select it. The glow in this one. Let's see. There you go. So now let's try to switch display mode. Oh. I actually got over there. Did I move the entire level? tell me why she's blurry? Some issue with the camera going on here? Oh. Good to know there's a hole in the level there. Oh, there's no impact with the water, that's why. I had to change that to the depth zone. There we go. Oh, that is bright. Oh, I have to make it a permanent switch though, that's why. So I'll switch that, but for now... Good enough.
So the platform thing is because when you make a new sculpt, there is a default floor, and they're not deleted before publishing.
Like, is that really the only reason? That's strange. Who would just, like, publish a sculpture without... I mean, I guess that makes sense. They don't think people are... They don't take into account the fact that people using it are pulling it into their level like this. I guess that does make sense. It's just a little bit strange. I'm actually going to cover that gap because that's going to piss people off if I don't. There we go. That's good. Alright, so now let's make a death zone that covers the entire floor. This is like bringing back all of my memories about being a DM. A dungeon master, that is, in Dungeons & Dragons. Really not making that sound great. Let's see. Place this here. Actually, make sure I have keep upright on. Then we can add this. So, again, if you are very new to this, most efficient? Probably not. But, meh. It works. Alright, so let's bring that pretty much all the way down. And then, like, send that all the way this way. Extend this all the way this way. And tell me if anybody is a creator and has spent some time creating levels and not just scenes. Is this how you do it? That's how I've been doing it. I don't know any way to tell if it's the most
obvious.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely is easy to mistake. It's just, I've seen it on a few things that are pretty detailed, being that Dreams came out a week ago, so my assumption was that they were created in the early access, but obviously I should not assume that, so. Actually, I'll change that in a little bit. Alright, so that should kill me now when I jump into the ground. Let's make sure it works. Yep, great, okay. Great, it's working. And I activated the checkpoint before I died. That's good. Great. Quick save that. Before I forget. For reference, this was probably going to bother a lot of people, but I don't name my creations until at least a little while in, and generally probably before I publish it. Even though they're already named in my head for the most part.
What time is it? Oh, yeah.
So we got that. Let's bring this whole mess, which is not grouped right now. Oh, crap. Group that mess together and bring it over here for now. I know I still have logic to add to this, but I'll just do that in the future. And then let's put this here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna ungroup that real quick and just delete these. Because it makes more sense to just have this. There. Oh, you know what? That actually kind of looks nice. I was gonna replace that overhead thing, but does it look nice? Yeah, I kind of like that. That little skylight coming in, shining down upon this lovely brick. There we go. And I can delete the key. Oh crap! I have to shrink this. Oop! Too much. Is that enough? That's not going to the bottom, is it? No, it's not. Okay, good. Then let's turn off stay upright and make this jut out like the crystals that it definitely is for some reason now. Make it a little bigger than that. Like that, maybe? And let's turn you to match. So that when someone gets close enough, it will trigger. And I should definitely make this a permanent switch, but not yet. Alright, so let's create one more section over here. It's gonna be big because I want it to be I want to have like a higher up spot where I can actually create another platforming segment, as opposed to just using this scene that I've created already. Let's take, actually, you know what, we don't even need that, so now I can just take the grass. There we go. Place it like this. How about that? Does that look good? But you know what, it's good enough for now. I'm actually going to delete a few of these and try to make this look a little less shady by doing that. Oh, that's so much better. See, it's not as like glowy and luminescent as I wanted it to be, but I think it just looks a little bit better. And I can actually up that a little bit by adding some more grass here. Maybe even some more here. That. There we go. Ooh, there's a little death nook back here. In Little Big Planet, one of the best things that my friends would help me with when I was troubleshooting my levels, and I mean just playtesting them essentially, was whether or not there were crevices that they could fall into where they'd be trapped. Because it's not something that you really look for as a game designer, or as a whatever you would call me, but it's certainly important. And in Little Big Planet, you get squished in those small spaces, so that was always fun, running through levels with friends that would immediately kill them, and hopefully not infuriate them. I know I should. Alright, so if you could come up with a name for this, let me know, because that's the issue. I name it like I name videos when I post them, not when I make them. And so let's, good, this is still a group, thank goodness, and we're going to put this all the way over here. But, like, up here, because then... Actually, even higher than that. Let's move it, like, up. And see if we can't make this look a little bit more like an actual formation of rocks as opposed to a bunch of things smashed together. No promises, though. I don't like that the back of this is that color. I know it's my fault. But it does add some variation in this. Oh, this is hideous. Hold on. There we go. And make this look a little less like it's entirely a fake mountain. Which actually wouldn't have been a terrible idea to make it look plastic, but we don't need to make it look that plastic. And that tail of a mountain will be for future Gabe to deal with, because current Gabe is not dealing with that and does not have time to deal with that. Alright, so now I'm going to select these two. If I place them correctly enough, I can select these two, copy that, and make it just a little bit bigger, and shift it a little bit. Actually, even maybe reverse it and then turn it? And then that should be an easy way to make this look more like a mountain. And I can add some more details to it later, but for now, I think let's turn this a little bit. Shift it there. Yeah, there we go. That looks a little bit better. It just does, it takes up a little too much space, I think. So let's shift this like that. Pull that down just a bit. when it just almost fits. That's really a sentence that just came out of my mouth. Oof. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now, how are we gonna get up there? Assumably using these. I just might have to make taller ones. So if I ungroup this, and just group those. Now I can do this and then raise this up. That should hopefully be possible. We'll see. I'm going to have to add a bunch of boundaries around this so the people aren't jumping off the level, but I think that's as of right now. Just make this a little bit taller so that people don't end up jumping off the edge there. I kind of like this ledge that I created, so we're going to use that instead. I'm going to take this and pull it over here. Not sure. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll have this coming out of the ground here to kind of give a start to things. I'm going to take these two and alter them to be a little bit brighter. Don't emit light from glow. Is that enough? That's not enough. Get even brighter. Wrong one. There we go. Actually make the under part glow a little bit too, so that it looks sort of like a gemmy rock. Is this gonna look pretty if it glows? Yeah, it does. Oh, sweet. Much better. So then that stands out a lot. And hopefully makes it a little more obvious to follow the trail of glowing rocks. But not that obvious. That's too obvious. There we go. I think that's a little better. Oh, it kind of sticks out now, though. I'm not super satisfied with that. How do we feel? Let's see if we can go back in. What if we do let it emit light from the glow? Turn this off. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to see it unless I just try it, so... Does that look any better? Still does kind of stand out a little bit. Alright. Nope. Not crazy about it. I'll shift it to this. Make it just a little more obvious. And this here. Is that too obvious? Let's flip it around. There we go. That's how I want it to work. Alright. And then you know what? I think I might make the grass toxic again. Nah, I'll leave it like that. There's no need to kill somebody at every single turn. Rebuild this a little bit. And then let's have one of these jutting out of the wall here. Gotta put one of these in here because it's just like it's already become an aesthetic of the level. There needs to be one here. But maybe instead it can just be sticking out of the ground. Or sticking out of there, actually. That's where it needs to be. Let's see if we can make it work. Let's actually turn this like that. Not too, that might be too tilted. Shift this over here. I feel like I've devolved from giving tips to just trying to actually focus on making this look pretty. And the more that I focus, the less pretty it looks. Which is fine. I mean, this isn't obviously the final product, but it's just a little fun on stream. But we'll see. Maybe I'll go back at some point and on stream and do this. Obviously, I'm going to end up finishing this, just maybe not on stream. Let's see. This here. Nah. I think that's good enough. Just finish off this platform a little bit. Oop. See, me and Malkios are easy because they just take questions from the audience, but it ain't easy doing this and being entertaining at the same time. Unless you actually find this soothing like I do. That's kind of why I watch their streams. I find them very soothing and calming. Let's delete that actually, and let's put this here. Can we shift this over? Does that still look good? No, it doesn't. Move this like there. And then take one of these. I'm trying, so there's this little section down here, if you didn't see. There's this little thing here, which could look like a platform to a player. I don't want it to, because this is supposed to be the platform, obviously. And I think that the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by raising all of this, if not most of it, up a little bit. Which isn't to say I want to remove freedom from the player, but I don't want them kind of jumping on shady platforms to try to get to the top of this. I want it to be like intuitive and actually make sense. So let's shift this over here. Just get one more to fill in the gap here. There we go. It's starting to look like an actual game. Then I'm going to take one of these and just try to rotate it a little bit so I can double the thickness of this platform. And make it a little bit easier to walk up, because this isn't supposed to be a challenging part. This is supposed to be pretty chill. And it was going to turn into that if I made it too difficult to walk up. Which may still be a little difficult. I think that looks better. Now, if only it didn't look like there was a giant rock sticking out of that side of it. I think that's, we're getting to the point where I'm gonna be like, that's good enough for now, and come back to refine later, because tweaking things in very minor ways is never a fun way to watch a stream. Although when it comes to create mode for this, it's kind of something you're gonna run into anyways. Alright, and then let's take one more of these and stick it right here. So it's clear enough that that is a walkable platform. How does that look? Good? Good. Can you hear me now? Well, obviously not, because he works for Sprint. I promise. I make myself laugh more than I make anybody else laugh. Alright, there we go. Is that going to be high enough? Yeah, I think so. Only issue is because it's green, it kind of blends in with this and it doesn't stand out as much. I may have to end up changing them to pink or red. But I don't want to do pink because pink just looks so much like the challenge they gave us right at the beginning of the beta, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I do have all of them set up now, so that was kind of my goal for today. Let's check over here. There's a huge gap there, but actually ends up just looking like a ravine, and there's pretty much no way someone's getting over there. I'm going to prove myself wrong right now, but I'll eventually some extra parts over there to make it impossible to get. For right now, let's have some fun as we wrap up the stream and just try to break my level myself. Over here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that wasn't that hard. Obviously, I'll add invisible walls and stuff to stop people from jumping on platforms they shouldn't. Because that's like generally a later on thing. That happens right before you, well, right before I end up queuing my levels. There we go. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I think it looks like a decent scene. Definitely still needs some tweaks. And obviously I need to pick a character that can't just escape the level immediately. But yeah, we're getting there. Oof, that is bright. But yeah, I think we're back to the start. And I think we'll end the stream there. Oh, hello. I'm so sorry, but you seem to have joined in right towards the end of the stream. Yeah, I think that's the scene for today. I hope you all enjoyed watching this. I tend not to stream creation because it's pretty mentally intuitive. Just want to bring this guy forward one more time. If you missed that earlier on, well, I don't know if there's an explanation I can give that makes it less weird. But yeah, I don't know my stream creations because it just tends to be me focusing on creating and just kind of walking through what I'm doing. I hope you enjoyed this stream. For now, though, I'm going to sign off, and I hope you all are doing very well. Have a wonderful day. It's been a week since the stream's been out. Have you been playing a lot? Have you been creating, or have you been like I was when I started playing streams for a week, and I was just terrified and angry that it was so difficult? But let me know what your thoughts are so far. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. But for now, goodbye.